Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Rwagnation League Season 6 Grand Prix here in Austria. It's going to be an absolute blinder, and I cannot wait for it to get started. Of course, I'm Ben Rwagy McConnell, and joining the commentator's desk is the lady, the queen, the talented young person she is. It's Jess. How you doing?
Hello, Ben. I'm very, very excited after last week's race, and I can't wait to see the action unfold. Our second 100% race of the season. It should be a good one around Spielberg in the mountains.
Yeah, it's going to be mental. 3 DRS zones, 10 turns, 2.6 miles. It's just going to be non-stop action. We saw in the F2s, it was pretty chaotic, as well as it was quite close together. I think in the F1s, it's going to be pretty much same situation. Obviously, we've only had one race so far, but the championship standings look as follows. Yenap obviously getting that big dub in his pocket there, getting 25 points. Andy, P2, did also get himself a fastest lap point, so he's there in 19 points. And Copy, in the dramatic fashion, by keeping as consistent as he did, managed to get himself in the third step of that podium. Obviously, the rest of the top 10 are going to be slightly outside of that. Outside of the top 10, are all going to be all on the big dun ring of death because none of them could score points. But we may see that change as we come into the second round here in Austria. Obviously, having Yenab qualify and finish so well is obviously going to give a good boost when it comes to Constructors' Championship standings. It's Racing Point P1 and 37 points for Mercedes P2 with 21 tied with Red Bull there. Williams then P4 with 10, McLaren P5 with 8, and then 4 for Alfa Romeo, which was scored by Beaker of all people. And then Haas with 7, in 7th place, with 1 point. Then AlphaTauri, Renault, and Ferrari yet to score a point. Now, the starting grid going into this is as follows. You have some idiot who's in first place. Krusik second, right there on the back of him. If you remember, the quality was pretty damn 10. Skelbervand in P3, TomTom in P4. He does have a 3-player grid panel there, so bear that in mind. Luca P5, Brownie P6. It's going to be such a stacked run up towards turn one. I cannot wait. Matteo P7, Yonti in P8. They were all so stacked together when it came into it. I'm so excited. Phoenix P9, Andy rounding out that top 10. Did manage to get time into that Q3. Danico then P11 with Higgsy in P12. It's going to be an interesting mid-battle here. Dylan there in 13th. I think that's about uncharacteristic there. Beaker in 14th place. You got Yen up there in 15th. It was last week's winner. Certainly doesn't look so good here in this qualifying with Dennis 16th. Copy 17th. Jesper in 18th place. Never rule Copy out. That's rule number 1. Ben in 19th place, and then Vexit down at the very back. These two both didn't manage to get themselves some times onto the board. So it is sad that is how it ended up for them, but it is what it is. And now we're going to go to a hot lap with our good friend and accomplice is Yonti, who's going to show us how to do, or at least he's going to try to show us how to do, a hot lap around Austria. So you want to brake as you come to a 100-meter board and get yourself right on the inside curb there and run right on the exit and make sure you can get a good run. This is very important because this is a DRS train up here. You got to run right the way up there to make sure that you can effectively present yourself nicely towards turn 3. Get a good exit out of here as well. It's very easy to lose the back end, especially as your tires start to wear. You've got the DRS ring wide up and again charging up towards turn 4. This is the kind of your last area for an overtake, to be honest, as you come into it, because this is the easiest area to overtake before the rest of the corners, because now turn 5 and 6, which is this is 5 here, this left-hander, is pretty tight. You can't really go for an outside move. You don't really want to because you need to maximize the exit. And then turn 6, you got to hug that inside left-hander. And then turn 7 comes very quickly afterwards. Again, now into the final 2 corners. You have to roll it through here as quick as you can and maximize as much momentum through here, especially coming through the final corner because the DRS zone for the final time, it starts right there as you come onto the home straight to start another lap here around Spielberg in Austria. Now, I had a feeling that Halo would be there again. I don't know why, but for some reason, every single time I come to that screen there, the Halo HUD comes up. But we are now waiting for the drivers to just get themselves ready for this race, because obviously they do have to get themselves all set up. They do have to choose the tires if they're in that top 10 for what they did in the qualifying, and make sure that you are set and ready to take a 100% tour of Austria. Now, Jess, we can see the weather. It looks pretty dry. There may be rain later on. Who knows? It is a very long race. But I'm going to ask you off the bat for your top 3 prediction at the end of this race.
Well, obviously, I know all these drivers now and what they could do, but we know Austria could be a penalty central track. Like, it is strict. Corner cutting on this game is an absolute nightmare. I've driven this track many a time, so I think it's going to go down to who had the less penalties at the end of the day for some of these guys. I mean, we don't know if the alternate strategy is going to work in a 100% race, so I'm going to base these predictions on pure pace. So I'm going to go for... I think some idiot's going to hang on to the win. I think he was well with not getting as many penalties last week. I'm going to go for Prutit's P2, and I'm going to go for Bolwell. I'm going to go for Top Tom P3. I think he's going to get Galvavan today.
Okay, all right. I believe. I don't know. Submitted on P1 due to penalties implied has really kind of helped him out. I don't think Submitti's actually ever been in a position where he's been so high up in qualifying. So him being race start leader here will actually be pretty bad for him because he's more the person who's able to manage the ERS better when he's chasing somebody, look after the tires as well in that situation, and then do that overcut strategy, which he loves very much. So this is a very tough race for him to continue that dominance that he's had there. All right, I'm doing it. I'm committing.
Okay.
Submitted for the win. Top Tom for P2. Brownie for P3.
That's bold, I have to say.
In the chat. We've got Tiger Jr., he's got Andy P1, Gelbavan P2, Submitted P3. I mean, Andy's going to need a hell of a run now. From P10 to get up to P1 is going to be pretty mental.
But we did see Copy go from, like, near the bottom, like P12 or something, to P3 last week. You know,
yeah, that's true.
It's not impossible for Andy, so I can see where he's coming from.
yeah, 100%. We've got Badger who's given us Submitted for P1, Andy for P2, Top Tom for P3. So we'll see. Matteo's apparently distinct to Brownie, so we'll see if that becomes an issue for them later on. As the lights are now on here for the Austrian GP here in the Rwagnation League. Submitted's going to lead us away. And it's go time. We've got a nice clean start. Nobody having any real issues off the acceleration there. Submitted's managed to hold on to race leader. It looks like Crew 6 is staying in P2. You got P3, that is Gelbavan trying to fight his way through as well. Lots of movement happening further down the field. Loads of people are really giving it everything they possibly can. We've got AlphaTauri there at the back there. But is that both AlphaTauris? No, one of the house drivers there as well. I think that's Jesper. As you see them coming in towards turn 3, they're all staying very close. That's a Red Bull. That's Copy going down the inside. That was a bit ambitious there on the Alfa Romeo. I think that was Dennis. It was. That didn't quite go as planned. I don't think there was any damage on either car, but that could have gone very wrong very quickly.
Yeah, indeed. I think majority of them have just kept it clean already, which is great to see. No, Copy's gone off. Last week's podium sitter has had a nightmare of a race so far. He's gone into the wall towards the exit of turn 4. That is not good for him. He's going to need a miracle in order to keep it unscathed as well. That is a shame. Vexit's gone off as well. He's got damage to his right front wing, so a bit of a shame there. And I did see someone else spin. That was Jesper in the background as well. So the people near the back are not having the best of starts, but that promotes Yenab up a few places as well. So that's great to see.
Yeah, with people going into the pits as well, which is less than ideal. We'll see whether or not that becomes a problem for them later. Luca in P3 now, working his magic, trying to close in onto Crew 6. He's still within that 1 second margin. I think the telemetry is slightly off now on the left-hand side, to say the least. The timings and everything are very much incorrect. Crew 6 is still P2, Submitted is still P1. I think, if that is right, which it might just be, you know, Crew 6 is outside of the 1 second margin on Submitted. So I think the instruction there to Submitted was build a second gap as quick as you can. You have to leave now and run for your life.
I think, to be honest, he's really starting to push just in case he does get that penalty, so then he can have the buffer that he needs to still probably take the win, which is, I think, very, very smart considering what happened last week in Canada. So there's a lot of lessons learned from that as well, but we are getting less penalties here is key. We're starting to see a few people get warnings. Turn 9 and 10 is going to be the key, I think, to avoid warnings and penalties, because I think we've seen in real life people get their times invalidated there too. And lots of other stuff. Was feeding AlphaTauri go off. That was Matteo. I like his gamer tag, by the way. It says I can see where he's coming from. His brother is a long way, and his brother is short way. Oh my goodness! I can see the fun now.
They've got it all covered. Danico losing out of position there to Yenab somehow. Yenab is now up to P12. There's a bit of a drag race going on here as well as Beaker trying to get around the outside into turn 4. This is going to be pretty awkward. Oh, big mistake from Danico. Beaker sold that, ready like a book, and says easy peasy lemon squeeze. In fact, both Alfa Romeos are actually looking to get on this as well. Denny's going around the outside in towards turn 5. This is less than ideal, but he's going to try and stick it out. He's done just enough. Dennis, what a move there from the Dutch lad, keeping it going and sticking with his teammate the entire time.
Yeah, indeed. I was riding on board with Andy and Tom. They were having a battle as well, heading towards turn 4. They kept it clean throughout, side by side as well. Andy has probably gained quite a lot of positions in this race. Started P10 and he's in P7 at the moment, but he wants to make sure he gains more throughout the course of this race as well. 1.1 second is the gap between first and second place at the moment, but we are starting to see the DRS train start to form, and Yonti though is going to try and line up for a move towards turn 3. Can't do it for now, but he is going to have the DRS, I think, heading towards this straight here, and I think he's going to have the edge on him with the entry speed that he's getting. So let's see what he could do now heading towards turn 4. I think the DRS train is just definitely not helping any of these drivers out, and that's why Yonti has to settle for P9. He's lost a few temps there.
Yeah, he has. Actually, Yenab as well. He's making some moves, this guy. He's really giving us some. Up into P11 already. Past the assassin there quite nicely through turn 4. He's staying very strong. He's very committed, wanting to try and make the best of the situation. I think Matteo, who's P5 right now, he's having some issues with his network altogether, it looks like. I've seen him zipping around left, right, and centre. He does also seem to be apparently a lap down, which is incorrect, I assure you. He is, in fact, on the same lap as everyone else. He's just also having some sort of issues. Top Tom, P6, dropped a massive amount of time between him and Matteo. There's something quite going wrong there for him.
Yeah, but it's allowing, I think, Andy to catch up even more as we head towards the little king of turn 2. They're going to go side by side as they go up the hill, and I think that's comfortably an easy move for Andy there, but it's still not over for Top Tom as well. Meanwhile, in the background, we got Brownie doing exactly the same thing to Gionti from P9, so Brownie is up into P8. Brownie having a better straight line speed, so that's allowing Brownie to keep P8 from the Haas driver behind, so it's great to see as well.
So according to the chat, Matteo's car on Top Tom's screen was stopped, and Top Tom had to take evasive action in order to not have contact. We did lose a lot of time as a result, which does kind of make sense. It is sad to see that is the case, but I guess now, actually, Matteo's looking completely disconnected from me on that screen there. He's left the session. Something's definitely not working for him. Luca in P3 has just got himself a penalty. He's the first of them all to get a penalty onto his name. That was going through, like you said, 10-9-10. I
think he was the first driver to get a penalty last week as well, as Andy gets past Matteo's AI car, as Andy is up into P5 for now. And I'm wondering if Tom is going to try and get past him at the moment as we head towards turn 3. It's going to be really hard for Top Tom to get the better run, the better entry speed, which he does. So he's up to 6th place at this stage. Somebody is looking really, really confident. I think, to be honest, I think he's going to win this race outright, and I think that's really deserving for him as well. Gelberman is keeping Luca under pressure too, as Brownie gets past Matteo too, so that's no problem for him. So Brownie's staying behind, getting a run into turn 5 and 6. Yep, he does it. I think Yonti needs to get past him ASAP, because otherwise he's going to get held up.
Yeah, the whole grid needs to do this as quick as they can. Obviously, ghosting is off, so the drivers will not actually be able to just go straight through them. They do have to go around them. The steward's been in touch and told us that Jesper receives a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision with Copy on lap 1. That is bad news bears for the house driver down in P19 already anyway, but still, even worse for the fact that you're going to have that 5-second penalty added to you. Will just make sheer pain straight to the heart.
Luckily, Matteo has joined the session. Hopefully, he can take control of his car, as we've had someone go. I thought we had someone go up, but it was just timing's having a little bit of a blip there, as Dylan's now down into 12th with Beaker in 11th position. So Beaker doing pretty well on track at the moment, despite what happened last week. Let's see if he could finish this race this week and get some really, really good points, and which he's going to try and... I think someone was going to move around the inside at the background. I think that is Beaker, actually. That's him up a position. That's him up to P10. We got a bit of squabbling in the background as well between Dennis and Matteo. Hopefully, Matteo's joined the session in order to do that. But Dennis is now up into 12th with Dylan up into 11th place. But you can see Dennis getting the better straight line speed on Dylan. So maybe Dennis could eye up for a move on the McLaren driver. I have to say, two of the Alfa Romeo drivers, they're working very well together, but of course they are. They've been in the Rwagnation league for quite some time, even if it's just as a steward or even if they're racing as well. Don't forget, Beaker is an RNL champion as well. So he does mean business.
Oh, Dennis. 3-second time penalty to his name. He's the second driver to do so, but he's feeling fired up. Look at him go. Going for a maneuver on Dylan here. Yes, it's the DRS overtake, but still, I'll be honest with you, I thought Dylan was just going to run away with this, but Dennis just caught him napping there, just got straight on through up into P11. Matteo capitalizing on that as well. In fact, Matteo is actually feeling very feisty as well. Clearly, he's reconnected to the session because his AI would not be driving this quick and this fierce, and he's trying to get past him, but it's just not going to work out. His network definitely seems to be having more issues for him. He's teleporting around like crazy.
Yeah, but I think he keeps lagging for me as well, so it's not just you, and he's sliding all over the place as well. So I think it's going to be a race for attrition for Matteo, which is not what he wants, but there's still quite a lot of races to go in the calendar, so there's plenty of time for him to bounce back a little bit, as does the majority of those drivers as well.
Well, we have Assassin, who's on the back of Dylan here now. Dylan obviously got caught out by Matteo's network. It did happen to the other McLaren, actually. That was Top Tom, if you remember. He did lose a lot of time as a result of that. Oh, Dylan's had a bit of a kerfuffle there. He's lost the back end. Here comes Assassin. Nice and simple overtake. No questions asked. Back in a P13 goes Assassin.
Yeah, I think that was an easy move for him as well. He just waited for the perfect opportunity. He saw Dylan was making a mistake as well, and that really benefited him. And to be honest, he's on for some decent amount of points, because don't forget, the train, I think, is from up to P11 as well. So maybe Assassin could catch up to Matteo once again and see if we can eye up for a move there as well. And, you know, it's just, I think it's, we got a nice midfield battle, and we got a nice battle, I think, near the front. But we can see Cruisix is gaining, I think, about a few temps on somebody there. So it's far from over here, and we don't know what the strategy is going to be. We don't know how long these softs can last for. So it'll be interesting to see whether when these drivers will come into the pits.
The other thing to note, though, is that the ERS levels for the top two right now are actually favouring Suminiat slightly. He's on 19% as they come out of turn one. Cruisix is giving it everything. He's currently sat 5% with it was engaged until just that moment I spoke. He's struggling so much to keep up with Suminiat's pace right now. He's outside that DRS range as well anyway, so realistically, all Cruisix is doing here is just opening himself to being vulnerable from the cars behind. He needs to try and maintain his pace and his ERS, and just hope that in time, his pace will be enough to recover and keep that ERS battery pretty high. Yonti just getting passed here by Brownie again. I think Yonti did actually go for a bit of a send on Brownie, but Brownie's had a bit of a mare there through turn 4. That's actually a big mistake. Big lock up on the front right-hand side tyre. I'm actually going to have a quick look at his tyre situation. He's currently on 79% on the rear left as his lowest. Yonti, for reference, is on 78%. So actually, Yonti is slightly worse off there.
Yeah, it looks like he had a bit of a mare there as well. I think he went off, at the exit of turn 3. Didn't get a good exit speed into turn, to the start of turn 4. So that's a bit of a shame for Yonti. But again, he can bounce up a little bit and concentrate on the rest of the race. I don't think any more is going to be penalties. I think Beaker and Dennis are the next drivers to get some more penalties as well. So it's starting to come thick and fast, but we're seeing some drivers that got a lot of penalties last week. Some of them, they're keeping it penalty free. So at least they learned their lessons from last week, as Yonti is going to try and go for the send once again. This time it works a lot better. Let's see if the exit of turn 3 works well in his favour, which he does. He doesn't go off, and he's starting to pull away from Brownie. So a lot better this lap.
Yeah, good stuff there from Yonti. Really like that. I mean, I've just been driving with this guy earlier, like I said, and he's doing a very good job already to redeem himself. He's currently fighting even harder there in P7. He's used to being in P7, which is quite good, so I'm pretty happy with that. We'll see now whether or not we are going to continue pushing further for Yonti. He's 3.8 seconds away from Top Tom. He just kind of needs to hold that. He doesn't really need to push too much harder. Just try and monitor it and see where it goes from there. But yeah, Luca is giving it the full beans. You got Galbavan there in P4, Andy P5, Top Tom P6. He's actually done it well enough to get back into the train. I actually want to get the nice little halo hood up as we stay on board with Top Tom, hunting down Andy.
Yeah, I like the Halo hood as well. You can see how close they are to each other as well, where their nearest rivals, and see, well, to be honest, can you see the G-force as well that they would have had if it was in real life, or do they not have that in the HUD?
It's not in this Halo hood. I think there is an option for me to turn that on. I'll have to have a look at it. I'm actually... I've not fully.
Luke has gone for a move on Crew 6 into turn. Sorry to cut you off there, but Luke had just go for a massive set there. He didn't look back at all. He wanted to take the gamble, and he did. Wow, that was very, very brave, and he made the move stick up into P2. Brilliant job from the Ferrari driver.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, it was a bit of a gamble. It could have gone horribly wrong, but it didn't, and that's the risk-reward factor of it. Very well done now from Luca, but that's actually a bit of a scare here now for Sumidia, because it does allow a faster driver and with a lot more ERS to start attacking and bring that gap down the under 1 second margin and allow DRS to be available for all of the cars behind. It's kind of effectively what is needed in order for the race leader to change, but Luca, he's really yeeting it through turn 1. That's surely another warning. He was very much off the track there. I don't think he's going to be able to maintain his... I mean, he had a huge penalty problem last week. And this week it seems to be a little bit different.
I think was it 24 was it like 24 seconds he got whatever penalties, or was it 27? I can't remember, but he got a lot of penalties. Yeah. I think also a few other drivers have got a lot more penalties as well, but I'm not going to say on stream because I don't want to shame them or anything, because they may still they may be watching the stream, because if they are, brave on them, as Yenab gets past Brownie there into turn 4, and he's up into P8 there. Clean move for him as well. Yenab won the race last week, remember, and his momentum is high as he's trying to fight back from his early positions at the moment, but he's doing a good job at the moment. Can he get the seconds he needs to get past Yonti, though? That's going to be the major question. Meanwhile, Krusik's teammate Andy is right on the back of Galbavan, and I think Andy's a lot faster than him, so this could be, I think, a question of when for him, but you never know. Galbavan could put a fight on him, and to be honest, I have to say, well done to Galbavan. After a mare last week, he's in P4, so great job to him. Right now, so two Mercedes, I can tell they're working together, of course. Obviously, Crucis wasn't here last week, so this is his first race in RNL, as Luke has actually dropped a few positions as well, as he's got a bit squirmy on exit. That's allowing Top Tom to gain position, as well as Galbavan as well. Luke is, I think, going to lose another position. He's lost 3 positions in the process. So Luke, after a great send earlier a couple of laps ago, is falling down the race side at the moment. What a shame, but he's down into P6, whereas Crucis is up into P2, Galbavan in P3.
Yeah, I think Luca actually got a bit of a tap there from Andy. I think what ended up happening, I think Andy got hit in the butt a little bit. Andy then went into the back of Luca and clipped Luca enough for him to destabilize, and it cost him a lot of positions. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see the stewards getting involved in that situation, or at least investigating it, possibly. We'll come on to later. Yellow flag sector 2. Who is that? Is that Pika? No, it's Pika. He's out and off. He's going again. I don't think... Oh, he has wing damage. Massive wing damage right inside. That wing is in bits.
Yeah, so he has to go into the pits now. Oh, Beaker. He was running so well as well. He was in the points, and he's just had a mare at the moment. For some reason on my screen, it showed Beaker's chase cam. So nice job, Gabe. But there we go. He goes in now, and I wonder what tires you're going to go on. The hards, I would say, not the best tire to go on around this track because it's a nightmare. So probably the mediums or the softs. Interestingly, he goes for the softs. I wouldn't have done that if I was him, but I guess he needs to make a couple more stops towards the end. So we'll see what happens.
I think it's a 3-stop on this track, but I think he's gone soft now just to kind of hope and pray that there's a safety car. If safety car comes out, he's back in, he's quids in, he's okay, he can carry on as he was before. But yeah, that's still, mentally, that's going to really mess with you. That kind of puts you in a really bad spot, and he's going to feel a little bit sad in that regard. But we'll see whether or not he can recover this. There's still plenty of time to go. Lap 16 of 71. We're not in any rush for this race to be over at all. Assassin also trying to get on Dylan, who's had a bit of an awkward race. He's not had the worst race, but he's also been all over the place. The back end step in left, right, and center. He's currently fighting now for P12. You've got Assassin, who's got a lot of ERS to use. He's actually pulled out of the toe there just so he didn't get in too quickly, because he wants to do it here. This is the run. They didn't quite get the exit he needed. Didn't use that much ERS because he wants to try and just use the natural momentum, which I think he's got. He's coming in for the inside line in towards turn 3. He's not going to go for the send. Very brave and very smart there from Assassin. Everybody would usually just send it there, but Very calculated, I like it. And Gelbaband, his teammate, is currently holding on for a P3 and fighting for a P2.
Yeah, doing very well so far. I mean, I've seen him in the midfield in many races I've commentated on in the past, so it's nice to see him in his element near the front, because I don't see it too often, and it just goes to show consistency is key. You don't necessarily have to be winning every race to win championships. There's quite a few people that have done it just from finishing in the top 5 every race, or even top 3. You have to win, obviously, some races, otherwise it's probably impossible to win any championship, but you don't have to win them all. So that's what Gelbaband is thinking right now, and he's probably going to think that other people get penalties, and he's going to go for the move. He sends it down the left-hand side of Cruises then. Can Cruises fight back? That's going to be the crucial factor. We got Top Tom right on the back of this too. He could take advantage as he sees fit. We got Andy right on the back of this too. He could just play a backseat part into this battle too. As you can see, Gelbaband pulling away. We can see Top Tom and I believe Cruises fighting into turn 4, and Cruises gets the job done, and I think stays in P3, but Top Tom is still fighting as they head towards turn 5 and are heading towards the edge of turn 6 here. Can Top Tom just get the send that he needs? No, not quite, so he stays P4, but Gelbaband, brilliant job for him. It's going to be hard for him to catch some idiot though, but he's definitely on doing little steps at the moment.
Stuart's been in touch to inform that Top Tom has received a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision with Gelbaband on lap 14. So that is a bit of a hit. Gelbaband actually had a penalty of his own there, but that one's an on-track 3-second penalty that he will have got for track limits. Andy, watching the back of this, Cruisix actually getting himself a penalty as well. This is just favouring some idiot so much more. All the pressure is just dripping away. 2.2 second gap to P2. He's got penalties for the drivers behind him, so he's sitting pretty happy, pretty cozy. A bit of a send there from Top Tom around the outside. It didn't quite work out. Cruisix did defend it. Now you've got Andy, who's feeling very fast, very fresh, very much ready to attack if an opportunity should arise. Cruisix defending the inside. Top Tom going for a send down the inside towards turn 4. Bit of contact. He's pushed him off the track. Andy's going to go through both of them.
What?
Easy maneuver up to P3 there. The gap was very much open. Cruisix did kind of get muscled off the track from Top Tom. It was ambitious, and that is the risk-reward factor, unfortunately. The risk was a bit too high, and there's no reward this time for Top Tom.
Andy already up into P3. The move that he was making there kind of reminds me of Martin G in Germany, if you remember as well, where he just goes for moves left, right, and centre as well. I think Andy could be on the recovery drive of Dream. He's side-tapped, he's in 3rd, and still on course. He could be actually winning this Grand Prix. So whoever predicted Andy for the win could be on for something at the end if this prediction is right.
I'm just looking at the tyre situation, though. He's actually looking a little bit worse off than Sumidiot. 54% on that rear left for Andy, 57% for Sumidiot on the rear left. So he's, it's favoured towards Sumidiot more so, but Andy has that little bit extra of an edge when it comes to that pace. So we'll see now whether or not Andy is able to clarify anything. Shortway has actually retired from the race. Things weren't going well for him anyway with his network connection, but yeah, now it is him done and dusted from the Grand Prix. I don't think we're going to see a safety car from that, because he did do it in the pit lane, like you say, but I have seen in the past where the car comes out and it does cause one, so we'll monitor. No, his car's gone, so we're all right.
All good. So actually, no, it may not be in the pit lane then. It may be in the final corner. I don't know. Or was it the pit lane? I don't even know. But
he got a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so I think he must have gone into the pit lane. But
speaking of pit lane, someone goes in. Someone goes in. It's Top Tom. He goes in then. I believe it's for the undercut strategy. So I wonder if he's going to go onto another set of softs or if he's going to go onto the mediums. And I see medium tyres in the McLaren garage, so onto the mediums he goes for the McLaren driver. So he comes out. Let's see if he gets into some traffic, which I think is going to be most likely in this situation. But all of this is all the traffic is going to help some idiot in some way, and Gelbaband as well. But Andy's just gaining a lot of time on Gelbaband. This could be P2 right there for Andy. Yeah,
Andy is on it, let's be honest. He's really giving it the full beans, considering where he started P10, he's up to P3, just pure pace. Obviously a little bit of battles going on around him. He did get in 2 freebies a couple of laps ago, which is understandable. You got Luca and Assassin and Dylan all having a bit of a scrap here. It looks like Luca's going to be the one who's going to be the filling in the sandwich, but I don't know what happened to Assassin there. Something just went terribly wrong. He's suddenly lost hours. Luca going for the inside on Dylan. What a move. He's back up to P8, but so many penalties to his name, meaning for him to be able to hold his position He's going to need to keep it clean and consistent from this moment forward, as our race leader, Samidia, has brought himself into the pit lane. And I think that's another set of soft. No, mediums. We're all right. We're going mediums.
I think him going to the pits now was a response of Top Tom pitting. He had to respond to that. I think he's going to get comfortably in front of him anyway, but you never know. The undercut is powerful. Let's see where Top Tom is on track. He's way ahead of Top Tom. So good pit stop from somebody. I think it shows that the domination he's had at the start of the race has benefited him. And you can see the soft tyre that's starting to degrade as Top Tom easily gets past Assassin there up to 9th. So he's just going to make his way past a couple of cars. He's going to find it hard to get past Luca, though, who pitted for the softs early on instead of the mediums. But you never know. We've seen strange things happen. So we'll see how Top Tom and Luca fare.
The steward's been in touch to inform us that the reason that Matteo, or Shortway, as you've seen in the bottom left, the reason he retired was because he was asked to retire by the stewards because of his desync issues that he was having. So, big sad there for Matteo. I think he had the pace as well for this race, just sadly his connection wasn't stable enough for him to stay on the track without affecting other drivers. I think ultimately it's the right call. He already caused Top Tom a lot of issues, and then it caused Dylan a fair bit of issues. It's just a shame that it couldn't have been any different. People obviously now get into the pit lane. We've seen Assassin and Dennis now getting there. Somebody is back up in a P6. But Andy's actually seeming to be pretty... Either he's being patient or he's not quite pushing as hard as he should be. I think it's because he's trying to maintain these tyres. Let's have a quick look at them. They are 46% on that rear left. We're not yet at the puncture territory. Remember, it would need to be 30% or lower in order for it to be... at risk of a puncture, but I mean, he's not going to take it that far in. I reckon maybe a lap or two more and he'll be off these tyres and going on to probably mediums.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you can see the tyre wear on this game now with the telemetry system that you have now. Like, you can see where the tyres are starting to degrade a little bit, but that's why I rely on you for these factors there as well. And Andy's going to stay out for one more lap, I believe. So he's going to try and see if he can get Galbavan on track, because if he does, it'll be a benefit and he goes into the pit lane. And on my screen, he's saying he's going to box next lap. So, well, I wonder if that's... it may be Jeff lying to us, because you never know. They may tell them to pit a lap later, because sometimes when Jeff tells me to pit now, I usually pit a lap later. So we'll see. But from the game perspective anyway, Jeff has told Andy to box this lap. The in-game Jeff.
And Andy, the in-game, because there are two. There's an in-game Jeff and an IRL Jeff. And the IRL Jeff has got a little bit more information. He's going to be looking at, or she is looking at the telemetry data that they're receiving from each driver to try and help them make educated decisions on when is the best time to box. Currently, tyre situation, 43% still on the rear left, so life is still pretty good in those tyres, but time-wise, I don't think those lap times are going to be quite enough in order for him to be able to continue going at this pace for much longer.
No, whilst you were having a look at that, Luca actually got past some idiot for P6 on track at the moment, but we know Luca will have to pit a lot earlier than some idiot, and he's on older tyres, 6 lap older tyres than some idiot, even though he's on softer tyres. So Luca at the moment is trying to bide his time, as we've seen Brownie going to the pit, and I'm sure that's another warning for Luca there in turn 10. That's got to be what he's done now. Is let's see what Brownie goes on to in terms of pit stop. He's on to the medium, so a common strategy call, I think, to go onto the medium tyres. That's what I would have done anyway, but we don't know what the drivers will do. It's up to obviously the real life Jeffs on what the drivers do too, and if it pays off for them, then it could have rewards in the long run. They could get a huge variety of points throughout the season, and it's not just about the drivers, it's about everything that's going on inside the team as well, like the Jeffs. So the Jeffs play an crucial role as well in terms of the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah, without a doubt. We saw it being pivotal to what was Williams, which is now Racing Point this season, really securing what they did. Yellow flag sector 2, who is that? Is that Higgsy?
That's Williams.
He's had a bit of an off there. We're not seeing the safety car called yet, but he cannot get onto the track, so we may end up finding one in a second. He's going to start moving again now. No safety car has been called just yet, but Higgs has had a couple of issues so far in this race. I've seen him spin twice now. And down in P17, this is less than ideal for him. Galbavan holding on to P2. He did get passed by Andy on the last lap that's just gone. So now Galbavan is just trying to hang in there, use that DRS and the toe just sort of bring him further forward. Now somebody else has spun. Who's that? That's not Luca. Is that Vexit? It was Vexit. Yeah, he's had an issue as well coming out of turn 4. Has he got wing damage? No, he's all right.
No, I think he just had a bit of a spin, but his tyres, I think, don't look that good. So, yeah, he'll have to pit a lot earlier than the other medium runners who are still out. I think he's the only medium runner that's still out, apart from Copy, who had to pit earlier as well for... Actually, no, did Copy stay out after that spin? Or did he pit? It's hard to tell.
No, he's still going. He's still going for the same. He hasn't pit at all. He's still on the same level of tyres. But the stewards have been in touch again to inform us that Top Tom has received another 5-second time penalty, but this time for forcing Crew 6 off the track, which we saw a little bit earlier on. I think that one's pretty justified. Crew 6 did end up losing a lot of time as a result, and it was a bit aggressive there.
The stewards are on it today.
Yeah, stewards are properly on it. This is good though. I like it. keep it up, stewards. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we like you as well. There's quite a few stewards as well that are watching the stream live. They're in their own channel as well and watching pretty much all the driver PFVs that are streaming today. And of course, there's commentators as well. So they have a variety of views to watch for in terms of clipping incidents. And don't forget, the Jeffs can also report incidents as they see fit. So, as we got Danny Coe, I believe, who's gone for move on Brownie, or if Danny goes off, so Brownie gets position back. So Brownie's up into 9th place as Danny's lost a little bit of time there. So I wonder if his tyre's a little bit worse for wear there, but Brownie's on fresh and mediums, so that's probably the reason why. So Brownie up to 9th. And it should be interesting to see. We only got a few drivers yet to have any penalties. That's Andy, Samidiot, Yenab, Brownie, Copy, Jesper, and Vexit. Everybody else has got at least one.
Well, Andy has taken his soft so far that we're near the possible puncture territory. 34% on that rear left there for him. So he's going to be feeling very squeamish coming out of every corner. In fact, I think Geldervan is in the same sort of position. Let's have a look. He's on 35, so he's only slightly better. Crew 6 on 35 as well. He's not really looking too bad. Yonti's on 40%, so he's doing a much better job of managing his tyres. However, he is a much further back. 5.8 seconds is the gap just to Crew 6 alone. So yeah, a lot of work to be done for Yonti. But if this pays off, if by going that little bit further on these soft tyres and getting onto whatever tyres he's going to go onto next, does end up being the strategy for him, then fair play. This could be huge.
This could be huge in terms of how many points you get, because it's not about where you start, it's where you finish in the race as well. And to be honest, with it being a shorter calendar than the last season of RNL, you can't afford to make too many mistakes. If you do, then chances of you winning the driver's title will be second to none, or even the constructor's title if you're just fighting for that as well. But you know, and he's doing a good job right now, just keeping the pace up. But you know, he can't push too much now. He's got to manage his tyres right until the end of his soft stint in order to utilise this. And I think the way he's going for a 2-stop, even though we think that the 3-stop would be better, but, you know, he's just keeping his options open. Jeff is looking at the data. The Jeffs knows what they're doing. The Jeffs that Mercedes have is very, very talented, to say the least, as we've seen last week.
Yeah, Luca going for a move here on Yonti, going in towards turn 4. Yonti can't really fight this at all, and I don't think he really wants to. He knows that Luca's got a fair few penalties to his name. Yonti's more just trying to conserve his tyres and use the pace of anybody else around him. If they want to go through, yeah, feel free. I'll let you go through. I'm just going to sit behind you for a little bit and you know, look after my eras, look after my tyres, and maybe push my tyres even further than the other guys did. I think what the guys that are you know, still on these softs from the very beginning are doing, I think is very ballsy. I think it's very risky to be this far in. You're running that risk of actually having a puncture. Crew 6 has said, I tap. Rear left for Andy is now 29%. We are at a point where a puncture could happen, so bear that in mind. Will I finally get the explosion I've been looking for, or are we just going to see him pit and everything be okay?
You were hoping Top Tom was going to get a puncture in Abu Dhabi, and I was watching the stream and I was like, I hope he doesn't, so Rwaggy could cry in shame. But I hope Andy goes into the pits now, so we can suffer the same thing. But you know, Andy knows what he's doing. There's a bit of a slide there. No, it's not a puncture.
I mean, it is a bit of a RNG situation when it comes to punctures. There are things you can do that will influence the triggering of a puncture, but yeah, surely this is the final lap that he's going to take. I doubt he's going to to go any further. If he does commit any further on this, then that would be impressive.
It's-
No, he does go through it. He's cut that quite a lot, though.
That might be investigated. Are they not allowed to cross the pit lane line?
I believe the rule is, the white line is fine, but the red and white is not, I believe.
I'm guessing the stewards will have a look at that. I think they will.
They may investigate that. Galband also, as he was entering the pit lane, did in fact get himself a 5-second speeding penalty, which he will have to serve either at the end of the race or the next time that he does pit. So the way that this benefits Galband, or not benefits, but the way he can kind of get himself out of this is if we get ourselves a safety car, then Galband can just serve that when he goes into the pit, as everyone else will do. Still lose a bit of time, but it's nowhere near as bad as before. So what we shall see.
I do believe, though, most of these guys will probably have to do maybe 1 more stop, 2 more stops. So I think Galband will be serving it in when he next pits as well. But again, yeah, he's going to hope for an early safety car, and that would really help him get back to where he was as well. We will lose a few positions in the process, but at least he won't have to worry about penalties being added to the end of the race as well. As Yonti and Dennis having a bit of a battle there. Come on, boys, as they head towards turn 5 and now into turn 6. I mean, Yonti's giving it everything on the fresher mediums at the moment, and Dennis is doing ever so well on the second lap on mediums too. I mean, he pitted, I think, when he realised his tyres were dying as well, but we'll see. Are the much warmer tyres of Dennis going to help, or the much fresher tyres of Yonti going to help? We're going to have to wait and see as we head towards the next DRS straight, heading in towards turn 1.
Looking at the tyre situation for Ben, his tyres are actually on 41% rear left, so he's done a fantastic job to monitor those, manage those as much as he possibly can. However, I feel he's done a pace sacrifice versus tyre wear sacrifice. He's lost a lot of time by being on these tyres. He's down in 15th anyway. I think he did get caught up in a bit of a kerfuffle in the first couple of laps, which didn't help his cause, along with Copy down there in 16th place. They're on the same set of tyres as start the race on. Jesper, who did get a penalty, remember, from the stewards, is down there in 17th. He's decided it's time to pit, come off of those soft tyres, and now he's effectively dead last. I think, again, safety car is the only way that he's going to be rescued. But I think if I remember correctly, Jesper was the one who got done in by the safety car last time, if you remember. He was stuck behind them. Couldn't actually get unlap himself because of that safety car, and as a result was screwed.
I think quite a few people were screwed with the safety car, but just to go back to your point about Ben, he did have to pit, I think, the end of lap 1 for damage. So, yeah, I think he must have got caught in the kerfuffle earlier on in lap 1. So that's why he's far behind by now, and but he'll probably go into the pits very shortly.
Do we think that Ben is... Oh, no, he's pit now. I was going to say, do you think Ben's going to go for that 1 stop? But
he's not.
It's possible. He's done 32 laps. Well, nearly 32. He's done 29 laps on those tyres. He's already pit once. He's going to have to pit again. So this is still a 2-stop regardless.
Yep.
He's got mediums, which I guess might go to the end. He did 29 laps on softs. Well, I guess we'll see. We'll have to wait and see.
He's playing a bold strategy, and if he makes it work, then it could benefit him as well, as I think he just goes in front of Vexit out of the pit lane. So this could be an interesting battle there. But meanwhile, Luke is in the lead of this race with Somebody in second, Top Tom in third, Andy in fourth, and the chasing Galband in P5. Not much battles happening at the moment, but we can see Danny Co still on the back of Brownie. They've been fighting for so many laps now. Let's hope Danny does not make a mistake and he can actually fight Brownie heading towards turn 3, but we shall see, of course. Brownie with no penalties, of course, so even if it stays like this at the end of the race, Brownie will finish ahead of him. But we'll see. Danny Co's going to take advantage. Is he going to go for the send like of dreams? Yes, he does. Good job to Danny. He had to do it because he has to get rid of the deficit that he has had. He's on the softs though, don't forget. So his tyres have got to degrade very quickly. But the sooner he got past Brownie, the better. So this is going to be a chance to not get rid of his penalty, but get rid of the deficit anyway to try and gain as many positions as he can.
I think Brownie actually backed off to let him through because the pace difference between Danica and Brownie was just crazy. So it must have been that Brownie let him go through because he didn't want to fight him through the corners, especially as Danico did not that long ago go for a hell of a send on Brownie. He ended up running straight off the track and ended up having to come back again, and Brownie got the position back, which you mentioned earlier. But I think Brownie's kind of got PTSD from that. We've got a yellow flag. That is Dylan, who's off into the gravel. This could end up... He's back onto the runoff. He's gone through the gravel once more. I don't think this will be safety car territory, but there'll be some people will be begging that it ends up being one. Dylan getting a huge 10-second time penalty. That, I'm almost certain that one will be removed from the stewards, because that was an insta. But he is he going into the pits? I think he is.
Yeah, he is. He's slowing down. Yeah, see, otherwise he would have lost a bit of time, and he went into the grass as well. You could tell that he was losing a bit of downforce there. So, what a shame, but still a long way of this race to go. Still lots of things that could happen. Copy 33 lap on mediums. I don't know how long the mediums could last on this game on a 100% race, but we'll see how Copy does on this. How is Copy's tyres looking at the moment?
Copy is, let's have a look, on 48% on the rear left. So he's looking still pretty good. If he's done about half of his tyre life on 33 laps, he could go very far in this race on that basis alone. If he does one stop, there's a possibility then that he could in fact do this, but that's the issue. He is kind of sacrificing that pace over the tyre wear, the tyre management. But if a safety car comes out, he's in a pretty good spot because he's already pit once, so he doesn't actually have to worry about what tyres he goes onto. He could theoretically go onto another set of mediums and just go to the end of the race. If he does what he did last week, where he shot up to the podium due to his consistency, he could honestly be very well done.
Yeah, I think he could do a fantastic job, I would say, Copy. So he's not giving up, but good old Copy. So, fair play to him. And, he's good at time management anyway, and he's good at keeping penalty free. So I know he can do it. And once the Jeff realises his tyre's starting to degrade, he knows what to do copy-wise on how to manage that. So we shall see what happens with him. But, I'm still seeing who is eyeing up a battle. I think they're just finding their time at the moment, because some idiots are now in the lead ahead of Luca, but Luca's got more penalties. Meanwhile, Danico is into the pit lane as he changes from his 18 lap on softs to another set of softs. What did he start the race on?
Soft? I think it was soft.
So he did a soft strategy at the moment. So he definitely has to pit one more time, because you have to finish the race on at least one other different tyre compound. So he'll have to go onto a set of mediums at some point. Not the best of strategies for Danico, but I wonder if he may have put the wrong tyres on.
Oh, apparently he started on mediums. I've had it confirmed. He did start mediums.
Oh, right, good.
Yeah. He's all right. He's all right. Luca in P2, fair few penalties to his name. He is kind of struggling to sort of stay with some idiot, but also that those soft tyres are going to start to drop off in pace in comparison to the mediums around him. Top Tom's obviously got 10-second penalty that the stewards have given him, but they're going to really affect him later on. It's just, I don't see now how Top Tom can kind of recover from this.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the penalties from the stewards, plus the penalties in-game as well. He's going to drop way down the order, which means we have to do some maths as well at the end to see where he finishes. But, he's been told, I think, about his penalties. Or I wonder if Jeb has told the penalties. It's going to be up to him now to see how he manages this. As a driver, I'm guessing you're going to have to forget about them and concentrate on your race. But if the safety car comes, it's going to be disaster for Top Tom. He's going to go near the back of the grid. So, Top Tom is going to hope the results stay like this, so you shouldn't have to worry about it. Meanwhile, Copy, after being on those medium tyres for so long, decided enough's enough, and he goes into the pits for the soft tyres. So he's going on a different tyre compound. So there we go for Copy. So let's see how he does on his soft stint. He will have to make one more stop, I believe, because I know the softs may not make it that far. But we see now Copy's pushed the mediums. He's a madman, Copy, so we'll have to wait and see.
Well, this is it. If his tyre management was that good already on those mediums, he managed to go that far into the race. I don't want to rule it out, because I've been proven wrong so many times in the past. He might be able to take him to the end, but I do think you're right. I think he will probably end up having to pit once more, just get off those tyres and go on to something else and just see what he can do to recover this back. Dennis, with another 3-second time penalty, is fighting hard to try and stay onto the back of that Haas car in P9, but those penalties will not be helping as Dylan started to find his pace again, 105.430.
There
a
we
little bit quicker
go.
than the others right now. Yeah, this is what we like to see, but P19, that's the bit we don't like to see.
No. That's what we don't like to see. Meanwhile, Danny just got a move past Assassin, but I would say Danny with the fresher softs, I think, really benefited in there as well. So Danny still, of course, be getting some points this race. It's still possible for him, but we'll have to wait and see in terms of penalties as well, because don't forget, black and white flag means they got a penalty, and I believe Vexit's just picked up one. So he was penalty free up until this point, but now he's on his first free second time penalty.
Let's have a quick look. Oh, I just pressed the wrong button. Let's have a quick look at the penalty situation as it stands. So, Luca has 9 seconds. Top Tom has 3, despite the stewards' penalties. They will be coming on later anyway. Andy, clean. Galbaband, 11 seconds. That's less than ideal. He did get a 5-second force speeding in the pit lane, which is ultimately what has caused it. So he's only had two track extension warnings.
Oh no, Beaker!
Has he had an issue?
Oh, he just pitted. Oh my God, Beaker, you panicked me. Carry on.
He's all good. Crew 6 has 3, Yonti has 6, Dennis has 6, Danico has 6, Assassin has 3, Beaker has 12.
Wow.
3 for Higgsy, Ben has 3, Vexit has 3, and then Dylan has 22. So less than ideal for him that he needs to figure out. I don't think there's a way out of this now. Even if a safety car comes out, even if he brings him back to the rest of the grid, that amount of penalties is that could be race defining. That is huge. Andy getting a 3-second time penalty. This stopped him from getting the win last week, and Yenab ended up snatching it away. Now, Savidia, who's been race leader for such a long period of time in this race, he's completely clean. Touch wood, I'm not going to jinx him. And he's got Yenab hunting him down as well. Like, this is going to be quite a big deal.
If a safety car comes, Yenab could get another podium. It could be a racing point 1-2. Wow. I
have also been corrected, by the way, for Dylan. Yes, he did also get a 10-second penalty that was very unjustified, so that will probably be removed. So he's only on 12, actually. It's not as bad as
other people
does initially look. Yeah.
Let's hope he doesn't get disqualified in the game.
Yeah, that would be awkward.
Yeah, that would be awkward. I believe in a 50%, if you get 10 3-second time penalties, you get disqualified. I'm not sure about 100% though. Someone will need to help me with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think somebody said the other start again. I think last week someone told me it was like 43 or something like that. I can't remember. I may be completely wrong altogether. But
Luke's in the pits.
Luke into the pits then. Yeah, getting off those softs. 23 laps. His tyre percentage was 40% rear left, so not quite able to do what the others were doing. Onto the mediums. This will probably be to the end now. I think he can actually take these to the end, even on his, because he's been pretty heavy on that tyre wear, which is quite normally the case when it comes to Luca, because he really likes to push as hard as he can every lap regardless. I think that's kind of what's contributed to him getting so many penalties throughout this entire race. But now, brand spanking new mediums, just needs to monitor himself a little bit, keep up with the others, and maybe a safety car can help him start contesting with other people. And we'll go from there.
I think that's probably what he's expecting as well. A late safety car, maybe. That's probably why he did soft, medium, but we'll see if the gambles paid off. We've seen him do gambles early on in the race where he's gone for massive send as well, but he's got less penalties than some other people this week, so, you know, he's keeping it much cleaner, despite the fact Austria, I think, is probably more known for getting penalties than Canada, but you can tell Luca has practiced his penalty situation, and I thought he almost got a warning there, but he didn't, so great to see there, as we're seeing more penalties on the board for some drivers now, so they've got to keep it collective at the moment. Yeah, and the Yanabon still on the back of Kruzix though. I don't think he's going to challenge too much, as long as he can keep Brownie behind him and keep that gap relatively stable. He should be, Yanab should be fine to getting some more points, and he could be looking very, very well for staying near the front of the Drivers' Championship battle, which could be very interesting for the Racing Point boys. The last actually RNL season in just pink for the Racing Point. There'll be Aston Martin in the next RNL season, don't forget. That'll be nice green.
Yep. The nice British racing green. I actually really like. I think that I can't decide if I like the Alpine livery more or the Aston Martin livery more, because they're just so beautiful to look at. I cannot wait to see them racing around the circus together. And I hope that they actually that they're all pretty close up. You know, I mean, the midfield was pretty good last year. I really, really want to see what they can do. But we're still seeing a lot of drivers fighting in the train, but the train doesn't seem to be switching up some carriages. They all seem to be hanging in within that DRS range of each other, just monitoring the tyre wear. That's the point of these 100% races. It is more of a marathon than it is a sprint. So you've got to keep yourself on that straight and narrow. Do not allow any mistakes to throw you off, get some more penalties or
Andy's
such
got
like
past
that.
Top Tom.
Andy has gone through on Top Tom. Yeah, he's managed to slip down on the DRS zone for Andy up to P2 now. Dylan with another penalty. That is 15 seconds if you take off that 10 that he's got. But now, actually, Geldervan, there's something gone wrong for Top Tom. His pace has just suddenly dropped. Geldervan is all over the back of him as well now. Oh, Andy with a huge lockup coming in towards turn 4. He hasn't lost him any time, but that will definitely cost him a couple of percentage on that tyre wear. He is really needing to get a move on. Because not only does he need to pass Samidia on the track physically, he also has to break a 3-second gap in order to secure a race win. And if the safety car comes out again like last week, that would just be the big sad for Andy. But I think to be honest, I think as long as Samidia continues the way he is, I think this is his.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a comfortable win for him, but we're not going to say anything because I'm worried I might jinx him. So as long as some idiot can keep his pace up throughout the whole race and doesn't pick up any penalties, he should be fine with that as well. So, you know, I think this momentum in this race is definitely helping him managing his tyre wear and, of course, his race pace at the moment because he hasn't been involved in any race battles. So he's just pretty much setting some time trial times at the moment. But we're seeing the fastest lap time as Dylan's out the race. He's retired in the pit lane. It's to be expected, really. But the fastest lap at the moment is set by Dylan, who is retired. So...
yeah, it's sad for Dylan. He had a pretty rough race, to say the least. He did kind of get done in a little bit, but at the end of the day, you can only do so much before you say, yeah, that's enough. If a safety car comes out now, this is going to be the biggest, saddest news that I think has been for Dylan. I think this happened last week. We had a safety car that was called right after somebody retired voluntarily because they thought the race was done, and ended up recovering. So... yeah, let's see now how this one pans out. We're on lap 45 of 71 as our race leader, Samidia, is feeling pretty cozy. I actually want to get a nice little halo hood up whilst we're running up through this circuit for one lap with Samidia. We'll see how he is maintaining this race lead.
yeah, I think he's doing ever so well, you know. I mean, like, just keep up the pace and he should be fine with it as well. But, yeah... I think everyone is just stable at the moment. I mean, with people on multiple DRS changes, it's hard to get past them at the moment. As long as they don't pick up any more penalties, it should stay as it is. But we only had 2 retirements in this race so far. Everyone is keeping it much cleaner than last week, I have to say. But last week was the first time that most of these guys ever raced against each other. This week now, I think they've learned what the racing style from the other drivers, and they know what they can do. For some of them, like Cruises, for example, it's the first time that he has raced against most of these guys. So he's doing well, though, in 5th place, but he's going to probably be jumped by Yanab and Brownie, who's got less penalties, but we shall see what happens from there.
Andy closing in on Andy there, on Samidia now. 2.1 seconds. He's just brought that down a little bit to 2 seconds. Vexed is feeling a bit rapid. He's just checked in the new fastest lap, 105.2. So it's good to see that he's feeling a little bit more like his old self. But he is down there in P18, what is now dead last. But an 11.9 second gap between him and Jesper. Something has gone horribly wrong. I mean, he had that spin, if you remember, at the very beginning of the race. And once you have an issue like that, it's so hard to recover from, especially if you don't have a safety car helping you out. It's going to be a real problem.
Yeah, I'm surprised there hasn't even been any VSCs yet. No VSCs, no safety cars. Bravo to you guys. Just keep up the good pace. We're already halfway through on lap 46 of 71. There's still many things to go right, many things to go wrong for these drivers as well. And
oh, Luca! He went for a send on Brownie. It didn't work out. He got caught on the inside of Brownie's rear end, and that has caused him to spin off the circuit. He's coming back on the track now. Assassin will not be caught out by him because he's a bit too far back. But that could have been lights out for Luca or Brownie, to be honest. If it had just gotten a little bit worse, that was really bad.
yeah, exactly. I mean, Luca, I think almost binned it where George Russell had a bit of a moment as well when he tried to go for the move in, was it Styria Grand Prix? I think it was the second race of the season last year. So shame for Luca, but he's just got to focus now on the rest of the race. And see if he can still salvage some points from this. According to penalties, he's on 12 seconds. So Assassin is going to be ahead of him anyway. But at least Beaker is still going to be behind him because Beaker's on 15 seconds of penalties. Beaker's got the most penalties out of every single driver on this field at the moment.
All right, then. 47 laps done so far. 71 is the target, the total, the aim, the achievement. And Samidia into the pits again then. So he has decided, all right, well, I guess softs now to the end. Surely he's going to go softs here. Where's that, 23 laps? Yeah, easy softs.
Yeah.
He's going to be so quick here then.
I think that's a very, easy strat for some idiot. But he can do what he wants. He was leading the race and he's got a good gap as well. So, you know, and the next car, I believe, is Brownie. And if he's going to be maybe just ahead, we'll see. And that's the crucial bit. He's got some clear air in front of him now. And this is going to be game on for somebody. I think he's going to be in the lead for quite a long way once everyone else makes their final pit stop.
You know how Lewis has it's hammer time whenever he needs to really give it the full beans? I wonder what Samidia's one would be. Answers in the Twitch chat, please, would be pretty useful.
Yeah, get some catchphrases in, guys. We want some catchphrases this season. Come on, let's do this.
Something relevant to Samidia in particular. I don't know.
Not some idiot time now, because he's not an idiot. From the way he's driving.
That's true. Yeah, the irony in his name is really quite good.
Meanwhile, Gelbavant gets past Tom. Where's Tom? Is he in the pits? Yes, he is in the pits.
Yes, on to brand new softs as well. So we'll see what he can achieve then going forwards. All of the top three that are in the track right now. Two of them being Mercedes, all of them with penalties. Samidia, though, in P4 again, he is feeling very quick. I just saw a purple sector 3 from him. Brand spanking new softs, much less fuel than he had before. I do want to point out, though, he does have a yellow fuel warning light on. That means he currently doesn't have enough fuel to make it to the end of the Grand Prix. And apparently, I was talking to Yonti, I think it was yesterday or the day before, about the Canadian Grand Prix. He was saying that if that safety car hadn't have been called, most of the drivers would have failed to get the fuel back in time for the end of the race.
Ooh. So that safety car pretty much helped almost every single driver then. So some of these guys are going to hope for a safety car then. So for the ones that are on the yellow warning light, they've got to hurry up and save some fuel fast. But that's the danger of losing a position. But we shall see. Brownie, Top Tom is also on the softies on the back of Brownie. He's going to lose out some positions anyway due to the in-game penalties and the penalties by the stewards. But he's going to still go out there and have some fun.
Thompson's actually giving it the full beans now, going for a move already on Brownie. The DRS swing helping him out as he comes charging through towards turn 1. But now Brownie has actually got a way to kind of defend against Yonti, because Yonti is on younger tyres. He's slightly faster in the current situation. But now the fact that, we've lost Luca. Into the pits he goes. He's retired from P12 and will no longer be competing for any points in this race.
That is a bit of a shame, but it happens. I believe he didn't get any points last race as well. So that's still on. Actually, or did he get any points last week? I don't even know. But that is another disappointment for him. And maybe next week will be better for him. I could tell he was practicing as well for this week. So to see his practice go down the drain like that is a real shame for him.
Yeah, I mean, he had the pace. He just didn't quite feel as consistent as he needed to be. You know, the penalties being the major factor here. This is a track that penalties are just a bit too easy to get. Give it a track where the penalties are much harder to obtain. I think he would actually do a lot better and maybe even dominate quite well. But yeah, this track and last track, clearly not his. We'll see whether or not he can bring us back later. Yonti hanging into the back here of Brownie. Brownie's still penalty free, might I add, whereas Yonti has 9 seconds to his name. So even if Yonti does pass Brownie, that penalty situation is definitely favoured towards the German drivers. We'll see now whether or not Brownie is going to figure out somewhere to climb forwards, because he's still also got the penalty advantage on Top Tom. You know, even the 10 seconds that Top Tom has will help Brownie move a little bit further forward. I think Brownie actually finished in P4, if I remember correctly, last week. I could be wrong.
I will have a look on my phone, on my Discord, and I'll check that and I'll get back to you on that one.
So the The gap between Andy and Smitty is 12.1. For those of you who didn't see it the first time I did it. Alright, Beyonce's still hanging in. Oh, Brownie's in. Okay, Brownie's decided it's time to box. Let's see now what tyres he ends up going on to. I think he will... He's got to go softs, really. There's no other choice of tyre at this point. Softs will easily make it to the end of this Grand Prix. Let's at least see what you can get out of him.
He's right at the end of the pit lane as well, which is going to help him. But yeah, some idiot finished P4 last week. Top Tom finished 6th. So that's confirmation there. But yeah, he goes into the pit. Brownie goes out of the pits. He's just going to come out ahead of Dennis. So yeah, Dennis doing very well for himself. Still maybe point strategy, maybe. But again, he's got penalties. So how many penalties he's got? 9.
Yeah, I just looked at penalties and saw Beaker.
18 seconds. Beaker. Man up.
In fairness to him, he hasn't had that much time to practice because he spent all day getting ready for the endurance race. So I'll let him off on this one occasion. Same for Yonti. But next week, they've got no excuse. They expect perfect race scenarios, okay? Not a single penalty is allowed for Beaker or Yonti next week.
Yeah, there we go.
Dennis is off. Dennis has made a big mistake going through there. His back end just snapped and he gets thrown into the gravel. And now he's having to recover and try and get himself back underway. He was looking very good, looking for a point. Suddenly, it's all gone wrong, and he's now outside of that. Yes, penalties will be favouring him. He should still jump Beaker, but he needs to be more cleaner than that, more consistent than that.
Yep, he does as well.
Some places.
Yep, so Idiots got past Cruz. He's up to 3rd, sorry, in the podium slot for him. Obviously, Galvaband and Andy will still need to make their pit stops because they're on 22 lap old mediums, but and Cruz is again as well. Yonji on mediums too. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers out of the 17 that we have still in this race on the medium tyres. I think all of them will probably go on the softs at the end. For the ones near the back, I think they're probably going to have to, so they can just get a bit of glory, maybe go for fastest lap if they've got a comfortable gap as well. But we shall see. We're still seeing some battles in the background, even if it's just for P13, but it's better than nothing, eh?
Oh, I want to see and raise something to you, Jess. Some idiot is flying. He is closing in so fast on Andy. That gap was literally 10 seconds about a lap and a bit ago. He's now already down to, 9 and a bit seconds. This is going so well for him. He's really bringing it in much more than he was before. And I think Andy, he's almost certainly going to try and take these tyres to the end. I think some idiot, unless the safety car is called, I think some idiot's got this. There's surely no way that Andy and Gelband can hold down that P1, P2. I mean, the penalty situation already favours some idiot a little bit. He doesn't actually have to close in that much. He gains 7 seconds more over the next however many laps it is. What is it, 16, 17 laps? And it should be some idiot loving life.
Maybe Galband and Andy are taking a gamble. Maybe they are waiting for a safety car. Ooh, that's going to be a bit of a...
That's a hell of a gamble.
That is a hell of a gamble, but sometimes you have to take risks. But if I was those two, their tyres are starting to die. Some idiot is chasing both of them. You know, you can't risk it, to be honest. Just pit, go for softs, they go to the end. You're probably going to drop down anyway, but don't forget Top Tom still got loads of penalties. There's still some drivers that have more penalties than the top 2, so, you know, just pit. The least you're going to... you're going to be P8 at worst, I think, so, you know, we'll see.
We will see indeed. Lap 55 of 71 then, and we are watching some idiot. Nope, he's not an idiot. He's actually pretty smart, to be truthfully honest. He's actually charging
smart
really
American.
8 seconds now. Look at that guy. It's really dropping. This guy is on a mission. I am very pleased to see that somebody actually looks like he's dominating the race. I mean, last season, he was definitely a top 5 driver without doubt, right? But would I say that he was the fastest driver that was on the field? No, probably not. But right now, though, I think he's looking at least like he's the fastest driver on the field, and I'd like to see that.
I'd like to see. This is the form that I've been seeing from some idiot from a long time, so it's great to see from him. Meanwhile, Krutitz and Top Tom having another battle again. Top Tom's got to be careful that he doesn't push Krutitz like he did last time to get a penalty, but he was a lot cleaner this time, and he's in 4th position, and he's 3/10 now behind some idiot, but, you know, he's going to drop way down the field later on, but on lap 56, anything could happen. And as Jesper and Ben are also on 22, 23 lap on Williams, just like similar to what Andy's and Geldervan's tyres are as well. But I think I can't remember what tyres, how long Copy made his mediums last. I think it was around about 35 laps or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, those two will need to pit. Those two will need to pit.
Yeah, I think it's a bit too far on the softs now to take them to the end. I mean, maybe
mediums. You mean then?
Look at Copy's. He's on softs now, though, right?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on 6. He's actually, in fairness, 65% with 18 laps done. Maybe he can make it to the end. He should be okay. So Vex has had a big penalty applied to him for ignoring a blue flag.
Lapped already.
Yeah, but where has he been lapped and who by? Who's that behind him?
Let me go on board.
Driver Jesper. Renault behind him. So that must be Geldervan.
Yeah, that must be Geldervan. Yeah. And there's also, I think, a Williams. No, that's Higsy. So, yeah, that is very weird. I think you have to follow some blue flag posts, but I think the game was harsh on that. But I think the stewards will probably look into that. Vexit goes into the pits, and he's going to go on to a fresh set of softs. He's got nothing to lose at the end of the day, but the disadvantage is he is in dead last out of the finishes so far. Out of the races so far, and it looks like another bad race for the Ferrari boys back in their base. So,
yeah, I mean they both DNF last week. One's already gone this week. We're still yet to see another one fall down, but you know, again, Vexit pin now isn't actually a bad call because if the safety car comes out, suddenly he's right there on the back of them again. He should be able to recover. Obviously, it depends on whether the safety car does come out because we saw. An individual or two get stuck behind the safety car last time, so who knows? We'll have to watch and see, but this is looking good for everyone else up further field, except if your name is Geldervan, because if you have a look at his penalty situation, he's got 11 seconds, and he's been rapidly caught up by some idiot, and he's also losing time to Andy ahead of him, so yeah, he's realistically, he's just hoping that he can finish anywhere near top 5.
It's still possible because we're looking at the gaps and the other penalties that people have got. So a top 5 is still possible for Geldervan, which is still a very impressive result considering what happened last week. So, you know, all things considered, he would have wanted better. But I think he'll still be happy with this result. But meanwhile, we got a battle, I think, behind Geldervan between Jesper and Higsy there. So yeah, it was Geldervan that was lapping these guys. So that is. Our prediction right there is, even though it's a battle for the last few positions on the field, I'm liking this. I mean, Higsy, I think, was near the back. Now he's in 15th. You know, he's gained quite a bit of time. So, you know, we'll see how he does towards the end. His teammate Brownie, though, still got scoring points for the team. So it's not a bad day for the Williams team, but it's not the best.
Yeah, it definitely is not the best. So. Just a quick overview on the penalty situation. Andy on 3 seconds. Geldervan on 11. Sumidia clean. Absolutely 0 penalties on him. Top Tom with 3 in-game. 10 from the stewards. 9 for the crew 6. Yanab is completely clean as well, so looking really good for both the Racing Point boys. Yonti, 9 seconds. Excuse me. Brownie with 0. Danica with 9. Bika with 21.
What?
Dennis with 9 as well. Assassin has 6, Ben has 3. Copy is completely clean as he always is. Higsy with 6, Jesper with 0, and Vexit with 9. So, yeah, Copy may be able to just shoot up the field a little bit. I think right now he's only going to get 1 spot. Actually, there goes Williams down the inside. Who was that? That wasn't Brown. That must have been Higsy.
That's Higsy. I'm trying to lap himself.
That was a hell of a send.
Yeah, it was. I mean, don't forget, ghosting is off for these drivers, for those of you that just joined us. So, you know, they got to let... Higsy's going to get some blue flags, surely. So, I don't want Higsy to get a penalty for ignoring blue flags. So, he's got to let Gelberman through at some point, because he's going to be in a lot of trouble otherwise. And because Gelberman is definitely in trouble now. He's got some idiot behind him. He's got a lapped car in front of him. He's got Tom behind him as well. I mean, Gelberman is just probably hoping that this race is over soon.
Yeah, absolutely. We just saw Higgsy get a time penalty applied to him for ignoring the blue flag. The stewards may remove that 5-second penalty because I guess you are allowed to unlap yourself as long as you don't impede the driver ahead of you. Obviously, we will wait and see. Sumida having a little bit of a flick there. I don't think he wanted to quite send it on Gelberman. I think he was trying to mind punt him a little bit, just kind of scare him to thinking, I'm going to go for it, and then see if he has any nightmares. But no blinks there from Gelberman, holding onto that P2 for now. Sumida still closing in a little bit, hanging on to the back of his car, just waiting really to bide his time. He doesn't need to go for any ambitious moves, and if you could do it with a DRS and a tow, it's worth it in the long run. 5.6 seconds ahead of Gelberman is where Andy sits, and with 9 laps to go. That is all that is remaining. Well, 10 if you include the remainder of the one that they're on. That's all it's going to be before we get to the end of the race. 6 seconds to close in for Sumida.
Yeah, can he do it at this stage? Because some idiot may know that Gelberman and Andy's still yet to pit, but you never know. They could play a strategic masterclass and get to the end there. But some idiot gets past Gelberman quite nice and easy into turn 3. So some idiot's now got to find... He's only got to find like 2 or 3 seconds now in order to win on track. No, win with penalty, sorry. My bad.
Yeah. I mean, it won't be physical P1, like you say, but it will be net P1, which is a bit that matters the most. So, Sumida continuing with great form, great speed, great consistency. He just needs to make sure now that doesn't falter at all. Thought that was it, but copy. Oh, it's all right. Copy getting a 5-second penalty for ignoring blue flag. Again, that will probably be removed.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, it's nice to have a rule in RNL where you are allowed to unlap yourself. I mean, that's probably why they're doing it, because otherwise why would they be doing it? So I think I'm just trying to see. I think everybody up to, I would say, P13, I think for everyone from 17, 16, 15, 14, 13 will be lapped by the end of the race, I think.
Yeah, more than likely. Okay, well, Beaker hanging in for P11. He's within range of Dennis, but a huge amount of penalties to his name mean he will lose P11. He will actually fall down to at least P12, especially if he doesn't rein it in a little bit. But the Alfa Romeo boys working together to stay close together. And Beaker is the gatekeeper to the best of the rest position, is all he is.
Yeah.
And Dennis getting another penalty.
Oh, Dennis. Dennis on 12, Beaker's on 21. That, yeah. I believe, is 7th penalty for Beaker.
Ooh. Is that Gelberman just gone into the pits? No.
No, it's not.
Oh, it was Higgsy.
It was Higgsy that's in. Let me get the tyres up so I can actually see who goes to the pits and who doesn't. So, Jesperdo's on 31 lap-old mediums, Ben on 30 lap-old mediums, Gelberman 33, Andy 33, Higgsy is coming out of the pit lane, and we've got Top get the move on Gelberman. That's a pretty good move if you ask me, but Tom means business now. He wants to try and catch up to these guys in order to not lose out hugely on the penalties that he's been getting throughout the race in terms of the game and stewards as well. But I think Top Dog could appeal those penalties if he wanted to, but it looked like from what he got from the steward, it was fair to get those penalties. So as I'm seeing, we're getting more warnings from these drivers, so they've got to be on their A game now.
Brownie actually got a penalty. He was one of the few drivers who hadn't actually had a penalty so far in the race. And now, realistically, it's the Racing Point boys and Jesper who haven't had a single penalty to their name. 2 of those 3 people I just mentioned are actually fighting for point positions. One of those drivers is actually looking, he might actually take the win here. Some idiot driving such a good race so far. He's done a very good job to maintain the pace he's had, but he is still having that yellow fuel warning light on his dash. He's also running very low when it comes to that ERS. And I want to take a quick look at Andy. I want to see his tyre situation. 35% on that rear left. He will be in puncture territory when we get near the end of this race, which is not the news you want to hear if you're Andy, we may actually see an explosion for once.
Oh my god, you want that explosion, don't you?
Listen, I don't take any names, right? I'm not bothered who it is.
You just want to see it happen, don't you?
Yeah, I just want to see a pop. That's all I care about.
Oh my goodness.
I will hold on to any hope there ever has been for a pop, because when tires explode, it's just so good to watch.
I want Andy, I want all the medium runners to carry on and see if they can go to the end. If they do, then brownie points for me.
Yeah. It's a shame that Brownie won't be getting many points today.
I shouldn't have said it now. I shouldn't have said it.
You set me right up for that one. Somidia still closes it in. I actually want to look at the ERS situation. It is slightly favoured towards Somidia here. He's got 20, well, he had 21% before the straight there. He's to burn all of that away. He's down into the 7%. So he could do with trying to charge it a little bit and then utilising some more later. He's got two back markers between him, one of which is Red Bull. The other one is an Alpha Tauri. That's Ben and Copy. Yonti and Brownie having a bit of a side-by-side battle. Yonti has just lost out to Brownie there. Brownie up to P7. Yonti hanging on for P8, but 35 laps on his tyres, 39% on his rear left. I think he should be okay in terms of tyre wear to the end of the race. But someone's got to pop, right? Someone's got to have a tyre go pop. Please, someone.
I'm watching Andy now. I mean, somebody is probably going to get them shortly. Somebody only needs to find 3. Somebody just caught up to him like that. 3.1 now. So, I mean, come on. I think somebody is going to get the win anyway. Who's going to get... It's Andy, if he stays like this, he's going to get second. Unfortunately, Andy has got the rev glitch for me. So, I can't go on board with him.
Yeah. Somidia is right on that limit now for being effectively net race winner. He's just a few hundredths away from being within that penalty range. He does, of course, then have to maintain it. There it is. He's within it. So now can just hold on to it. Krusix and Yenab having a bit of a scrap here. Krusix is actually on the inside, but it'll be on the outside for the next corner. And Yenab needs to hold this down. He doesn't actually have to fight him because the penalty situation favors Yenab quite drastically. Vexer getting more penalties to his name, but Yenab's still stuck on the inside here. Actually, looking at Krusix's tires, the rear left is ready to go at any minute now. This might even be the explosion I was hoping for. We'll have to wait and see, but Yenab into P5. He's still kept it clean. In fact, let's have a look at those penalty situations. This will favor Yenab. I think Yenab actually gets the podium at the end of this. When not when the checker flag falls, but when the stewards' penalties are applied. I'm pretty sure Yenab actually snatched his P3 here.
Oh, so how many penalties has Top Ton got with the stewards?
He's got 2 5-second penalties.
So that's 10 seconds. So we need to add 10. So we'll wait till we get to the standings at the end of the race. I will add 10 seconds on and then we'll see where Top Ton goes. So we'll wait until then. We won't calculate yet, but we'll see, of course.
Yeah.
I think Top Tom has got most of the stewards' penalties this race. There's quite a few from other drivers, but, you know, a bit of a shame there.
I'm just staying with Krusix at the minute because I'm ready for that pop to go. I mean, let's have a look again. He's on 27% on the rear left. And he's got another penalty. Andy has got another penalty. This is big news now. That is very much the race win. Not available now for Andy. I mean, he was already looking pretty tough for Somidia, but now the Somidia has just been so clean and consistent, and Andy just has that one little crack there. Yeah, that is now Andy at least falling to P2. He'll still be looking pretty good, but that regardless of how this pans out, as long as Andy still stays in that top 2 position, he will be the driver's leader in the championship for at least until next week.
Yes, and consistency is key. So to be honest, that'll be very, very good for him as well. But yeah, Andy is showing with those penalties as well. And there's only 2 or 3 drivers that are doing, when they got their first penalty, they haven't got any penalties since that penalty. So those are the drivers that are also keeping it clean, as well as Jesper, Yenab, and some idiot. But obviously, those three without penalties are doing a little bit better. But, you know, I think that some of these guys have learnt their lessons and carrying on not to get any more penalties. But there's some guys that keep getting penalties. Vexit's got the most on 28 seconds as he gets past Jesper for P15. But it's not going to be P15 as Jesper will get ahead of him.
So, let's see now.
Is he going to go pop now? Come on. I actually wanted to see now. Can he go pop for Andy?
Yeah, it's gonna be around this corner. You ready? Around this corner.
3, 2, 1.
I'm watching Crew 6. I'm watching
Andy.
Because his is lower. He's on 24% on that rear left. So both the Mercs trying the same sort of strategy call.
So that's 75%.
Oh, actually, no, Andy's is lower. Andy's is on 23%. And Top Tom's had another penalty. This could be Yenab snatching even further away than before. He's already looking pretty good for that position, but now this is looking even better. 22% on Andy's tyres.
So wait, that is...
struggling.
If it's in-game, it's pretty much 78%. What? How? These guys are machine. Wait! I'm just looking at Andy. I thought he had a puncher there.
Oh, don't get me all excited. I mean, like I say, from Andy's perspective, I don't want it to happen to anybody in particular.
Oh, he's just locked up.
I just want to see a puncture.
He's really struggling at the moment. He's, yeah, I think he's just gonna bind his time. And, yeah, Yenab could be on for some great podium positions now. I mean, we're on the final lap. If Andy could do all he can to try and get this car home, I gotta say, fair play to him for making it one stop. Yeah. Fair play to all the drivers for making it a one stop. It may not be easy. Danny gets past Yonti for PA, but this is the crucial factor now. We're not going to see the tyres go pop, unfortunately, but Andy comes across the line to take the win on track, but it's not going to be the win in terms of net P1. As some idiot comes across the line, he wins the Austrian Grand Prix. He wins round 2, and Andy gets P2, which is still really, really good. Top gets P3 after the in-game penalties, but due to him getting a 10-second penalty from the stewards, that would put him P5. So that will put Yenab on the podium. So Yenab's on the podium again this week.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to Yenab. He's really done such a good job. But Racing Point as a whole have just been so fantastic since the start of the season. And some idiot. I mean, look, last week it wasn't his race. He didn't quite get the win that he wanted. He still did really well. Don't get me wrong. The points were really in his favor. But today, some idiot looks like he was a man who was never going to let this race go. He started obviously on pole position due to the penalty that was given to Top Tom. And then coming into this race, he just led from the word go. He carried on out of the front. Yes, there was a bit where he had to then recover a little bit and then come into it later on. He then still had to recover again when he was onto the soft at the very end. But this was literally played perfectly, entirely by some idiot. And I'm very, very pleased to see that he's now, for the second time ever, on the top step of the podium. And he only just got the first time a couple of weeks ago, if you remember, back in Brazil, when he had the most sensational response to his race win. It was fantastic to hear, and I really can't wait to hear his reaction. Hopefully someone's recorded it so I can hear his reaction for this one, because it will more than likely be incredible. But
can we play it on stream?
At the end of that Grand Prix?
Can we play it on stream?
I won't have it now. I usually get it like the next day. Or something. But if I get it, I will absolutely play on stream, 100%. But the rundown at the end of that Grand Prix is some idiot taking that win by just being the most consistent driver on the circuit and the quickest as well. He did keep himself up at the very front. And in P2 with Top Tom P3, this is before the stewards get a hold of him. Obviously, he has got 10 seconds from the stewards to be applied to him, so he will fall outside the top 3 altogether, and Yenab will move up there. But as it is before that, it's Top Tom P3, Yenab P4, Gelbavan P5, Browning P6, Krusix P7 with Yonti P8, Danica P9, Assassin rounding out the top 10 with Dennis there in P11, Beaker P12, Ben P13, Jesper P14, Copy in 15th place with the DNFers then. I think Higgs actually made it to the end, and I think Vexit did too. So Higgs is 16th and Vexit 17th. The DNFers then, were Luca, Dylan, and Matteo. Oh, right, we need to now go to an interview with the top 3. We will go with Top Tom for this interview. just as he is P3 prior to the stewards' penalties. Although we could probably hear from all of them. Let's get Thomas in here first. Mr. Top Tom, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
A bit frustrated, but it is what it is. Yeah.
Have you been made aware of your penalties from the stewards?
No one came in to tell me.
Okay. So you have 2 5-second penalties that have been given to you from the stewards.
Why two?
So I can't remember the first one. You had an incident with somebody. I can't remember what it was. The
Right.
second one was the Crucix incident, where you got forced off the circuit.
Wait, it was Crucix and who else?
I don't know who the first one was, but the second one was Crucix.
I only remember Crucix. I don't remember anything with anything else.
Let me see if I can find.
That's interesting.
Yeah, well, it was Gelberband, lap 14.
I'll have to look back.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'll send you the clips anyway, so you can have a review of it. But look, P3 before the stewards have a look see, and then obviously you can appeal it. So whether or not you feel as though it is justified or not is entirely up to you, and you're welcome to appeal it should you want to. But prior to the penalties applied, you obviously got P3. Still some good points regardless. I mean, McLaren you did pretty well in the first race. It's a shame Dylan couldn't quite replicate what you were achieving. What went wrong today?
I mean, obviously, a little bit held back by the grid shot, but is what it is. I was still in it. We got a poor start, and then basically Matteo getting past me was the first killer. Desync all over the place. I couldn't go anywhere near him. He was like his desync car would like park on apexes. And then Andy would just pass because I was sitting dark. Yeah, and then later on that first stint, everyone stopping at the hairpin, I got very slight damage. So I was basically carrying that the entire race, and that cost me a lot. But from there, we obviously things happened. But I think after that we've recovered. Annoying, I got the pen at the end, but I was just going out for leather to see if I could at least on track, well not on, what I mean, with the current pens in game.
Yeah.
If we messed up that slightly, I might have been able to get it. If I didn't do that, but I had to try. So yeah. I mean,
you gave it a good going.
Yeah, just potential that never came through, basically, and that's pretty much it. Obviously, well done to Somebody and Andy. Both drove really good races, and it just wasn't our day. So it's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, look, Andy showed a fair bit of weakness today when it came to that consistency. He did get himself a couple of penalties, which obviously we'll hear from Andy, hopefully very soon if he's around this time. But overall, like he's showing signs of weakness that can be exploited, and it looks like it's just purely down to that consistency. I mean, Racing Point seem to pick that up. Is that something that you're going to work on for next week?
I know I have to pay. I mean, I've completely bowled the quali lap. I still poled it, so it's one of them where I've got pace, but obviously 100% race, a lot of things happen, and I think a lot of things that could happen have happened. I mean, Canada was just my mistake with the strategy, but here was there was a lot. I mean, there was definitely stuff I could have done, but also a lot of stuff were not in my control. So that's just how it is sometimes. And we got a whole season left, so we'll pick up from there and fight back.
Well, Japan is next. Are you feeling confident about Japan? Is that a track you're good at?
I think so. I'm not sure. We'll see. I think it should be a good track though. Yeah. No idea what the strategy will be, but I suppose looking forward to that. Can be a good track for racing. Hard to overtake though, so that might be an issue. But I mean, apart from that, it's a good track overall. At least over one lap. So
yeah, fair enough. Well, look, before the penalties get applied to you, you still got P3. Obviously, welcome to appeal them, and we'll see what comes out of it. But your provisional P3 or whatever it ends up being is still a very good, solid result, and you can still be pretty happy with that, to be honest. And I look forward to seeing what you can achieve when you get to Japan next week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. See you soon. Right, now we will hear... You know what we'll do? We'll bring Yenab in here, because he's looking, after the penalties have been applied, he's looking like he's going to take the P3 spot. I would bring in Yenab... Oh no, Yenab is there still. I will be I wanted to talk to Andy, but Andy has disappeared, so I don't think he's going to be around for an interview. And we will speak to our boy Yenab. Hello, how you doing?
Hello. Yeah, good. Obviously after that race.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you finished P4, I think, before the stewards' penalties are applied. When they are applied, and if they do get to stay post appeal, then you will be in a nice juicy P3. I bet you didn't expect that today after his qualifying start.
I was thinking about it. I thought it might be possible if I bring the race together and not get damaged and that kind of stuff because of the penalty game again. And that worked once again. And yeah, starting with 2 wins now out of 2 races for the team, it's really good. And yeah, both of us do good with penalties. So that's really important.
Yeah, I mean, you were one of two of 3 people, I think it was. I think Copy was the only other person who didn't get a penalty that entire race. Yeah, I mean, the guy is insane. I don't know how he does it. I mean, you guys were incredible as well to not get a single penalty. So, Racing Point being the most consistent team again this season and last so far, it's looking really good going into it. Hopefully, I haven't just jinxed it. But is there something you guys are doing? Like, you drinking some sort of special water that no one else is drinking?
I don't know. I'm drinking quite normal water. I don't know. It's just with the track limits. I think me and Edith were always good at it. I remember when we started league racing, and I went into a league in which he already was, and it was always really strong with both of us to not get a penalty or at maximum get like 1 penalty. So I don't know. It's just always been like that, and yeah, obviously I don't know what the other guys are doing. So I can't tell you anything in that regard. But yeah, just when you go off track, go a bit off the throttle, and then you're fine usually.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's just managing that off tracks, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Look, P3 is a fantastic result for today. You had a P1 last week, P3 this week. You're looking so good overall. I don't know the calculations. I think you're still the driving leader. But I can't remember how Andy fared. Andy got P2 last week and P2 this week. I haven't done the maths. But anyway, this is still looking pretty good for you to be still contending for that Drivers' Championship. Do you think that this is something you could actually take with you this season?
I mean, I wasn't thinking about it earlier, and I think it's only 2 races. Like if you remember 2013, Raikkonen won the first race, and then I think he finished like 100 or 200 points behind Vettel. Obviously in a slower car, we have equal cars, but it doesn't mean too much the beginning of the season is what I mean. But it's obviously nice to get the points already. And I don't know. Let's see how the penalty thing keeps on going. Let's see how my pace keeps on going. I don't know. I'm not totally happy with the qualifying yesterday. It was just simply too bad, and I have to do better for Japan and the next races if I want to fight for the championship.
Well, speaking of Japan, what prediction you got for me?
As long as I don't get damage or that kind of stuff, I think podium.
Okay, I'll take that. I was expecting a P1, but you know what? I'll take a podium. Podium's good enough for me. I'm hoping that as these interviews go on, Yenab, that you start to become more confident, and eventually I'm going to hear Easy Slaps P1 is what I'm hoping to hear next time.
No, I mean the thing is that you have to keep in mind Tom and Anya and so on. They are technically faster. It's just with the penalties. That's why I look good, but usually they are way faster.
Yeah, but consistency is the most important thing.
Yeah, sure, but like if they start to get more consistent, then it will be hard.
Yeah, true. Well,
Yeah,
congratulations on what,
goes.
as it stands, looks like you're going to get P3. Regardless, either way, even if it doesn't, P4 is a really good result regardless. And I'm very looking forward to seeing what you can do next week in Japan.
Yep, thank you. I'm looking forward to race as well.
Well, now let's drag in the emotional man. He's always the emotional one, and he's the guy you can always look to for entertaining reactions to races. It's the lad himself, Some Idiot. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. How about you guys?
Very good. Very happy. That was a very good race. And obviously, again, another race win in your pocket. You looked so in control today.
Well, all for the last 20 laps. First off, I just want to say excellent job from Andy to get from 10th on the grid. to get there. He won on track. The pace he had in the final stint was excellent versus me. And then Janab from getting from P15 to P3, that was like that's just those are the drives of the day right there, if you ask me. But to just, I mean, for the first stint, I was just trying to keep outside of DRS. That's why it was like 1.1, 1.2. I think you might have seen my battery was so low because I was trying to keep them out of DRS behind me. But it's just, I mean, I'm a little speechless almost. I just don't know. I don't quite have the words for everything.
Well, you need to talk about your race. You nailed it today. You absolutely flew like an absolute machine today. And then when it came down to the strategy call, you played it perfectly as well. And on top of that, you were the most consistent driver.
How's it just from the no penalties or something?
No, yeah, one of three people. You, Yanab, and Copy.
2 warnings, and both of them I'm kicking myself for because they were just small little errors. But just that's what I had in my mind, is just trying to stay no penalty free. That was going to be so big. No matter what happened, if we had a late safety car, if we came down to it, if I was stuck back in traffic, I could jump back through with the no penalties. That was my entire goal, and just the pace there. I was so shocked I had that race pace. I figured I would be the conductor on a DRS train for the first stint, but I just managed to break it and just tried to run the pace the best as I could. I was really close on fuel for a while as well, so just trying to manage a bunch of things. I mean, like I said, Andy drove an excellent race. The one stop I think might have been the way to go in hindsight, but I planned the setup for a 2-stop, planned my race for the 2-stop. He just executed an excellent race. I want to give full credits to Andy. Seriously, he drove excellent job from him.
All right, well, let's forget about today, okay? Because it's already done. It's already in the past. Nobody cares about it anymore, right? We're talking about next week, Japan. Now, Yanab said that he's going to beat you easy peasy. He said that you were never going to get him on P1. You got a response to that?
Who did? One more time? Sorry.
Yanab said that.
Oh, are we going to have a Checo Ocon 2017 18 vibe moment? Oh, no.
I mean,
I'm looking forward to Japan,
I may have absolutely just talked complete BS. That was completely made up. He didn't say that at all.
Sure.
I like how you bit it, though. That was quite good.
To actually answer your question, I'm looking forward to Japan because I think there are 4 strategies that could equally all play out. I've got something in the back of my mind. I'm looking forward to trying for strategy. We'll see on Friday. Maybe you get a taste of it in Q2. We'll find out. But I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, lots of strategies that could work, and just keep the momentum run, keep the ball rolling, keep the momentum going, and maybe I'll be back here again next week. We'll see.
So if I said I need a specific prediction from you, you give me
top 5. We'll go for top 5.
Less confident than Yanab's. Yanab actually said podium.
No, you're gonna go for the win. Come on, you're gonna go for the win.
Just the pace.
It has
of the
to be
field.
another winner finally.
Yeah, that's it. We had our wins from Racing Point. No one else is allowed to, or
Yes.
we're not allowed to win anymore. That's it. But,
that's a good point there. I didn't realize until you just pointed out. But so far, the races have only been won by Racing Point. No one else has won a race yet.
One more thing I want to say before I hand off the mic. My girlfriend is watching this race, and hey, we did it. We won again. We did it again. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. Well done. Very pleased for you, and I'm very pleased to hear you've got the support in the chat. Look forward to seeing what you can do in Japan next week. You better get the dub for me. If you don't, then I'll think of some sort of forfeit for you.
You'll be very sad.
Oh yeah, okay, fine. I'll be sad. That's it.
Thanks again, guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And that's it for the Rwagnation League Season 6 Grand Prix here in Austria. It's been an absolute blast to commentate for you. And also, I'm absolutely blessed to commentate alongside you, Jess. Thank you so much for joining me. It's always a pleasure to have you in the commentary box. And actually, a bit of in-the-moment feedback for you. I've had many people approach me and say that they're very happy to hear you in the comments box with me. So I like that.
That's nice. Thank you, guys. I love you all too. I can't wait for next week in Japan, which, to be honest, I thought I'm just gonna be having enough of Japan because I've been racing and commentating on Japan all week, and I'm gonna have to do it again next week. But it's
life is just such a misery.
No, it's a good track. All the races I've commentated on in Japan so far and raced in have been fantastic anyway. So, now I'm going to be in for a real treat. So I can't wait for next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. I cannot wait. I will not be streaming anything else for the rest of the evening because I've actually been doing a bit of endurance racing earlier today and I'm a little bit tired. Granted, I didn't drive for that long, but today's been quite a long one. So I am going to just chuck a host over to a friend of mine who is literally just started their stream, and they're doing my team on F1 2020. So I really like this guy. He's a really cool dude. He's been a pretty sound guy. Every time I watch him, he's always just hilarious. There's no filter on this guy at all. So, bear that in mind as you watch him. His name is Yuvon. So if you guys could give him some love in the chat when I give him a host, that'd be fantastic. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on Monday where we'll be doing more Assetto Corsa Competizione. I'm definitely going to be having a lot more fun doing some of those. All right. Have a good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. And I'll see you Monday. Love you too. Bye.